Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Palmisano here. Hope you're having an excellent day. Back on GuitarGate.com and looking for another React request from a student on there. And I see, sometimes you got to do an oldie but goodie. This is Neil Young, Harvest Moon, Unplugged. This is from Brody Hopkinson. Brody, thanks for being a subscriber up in Connecticut. Really appreciate you. Love all the milestones you've done here, taken a bunch of lessons, uploaded a bunch of videos. Love it, man. He says, song always reminds me of October. Love the guy using a broom as an instrument. I'm not sure. I think I've seen this, but lots of other people like it too. Let's hit the button. Brody, this is for you. You weren't kidding about the broom. I love it.
Just like children sleeping.
Love that. Yeah, does it just do that? There's so many cool parts in here. Your basic harmony is going from D to E minor, so a 1, 2, a 2. But this little arpeggiated thing, it sounds like... So it's just root, 5th, minor 3rd, root, 5th. But it's clearly... Those first 3 at least are harmonics, and you get them by putting your finger gently over the 12th fret and playing the 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string to get that E minor triad. And then I think it just continues down. Let's keep going. Oh my gosh. When am I going to get this figured out? Vidami.
We could dream this night away.
Little cool things he's doing in here. You got D major like this. But then he's doing these little first inversion, putting an F sharp in the bass, implying A a little bit there. Just adding a little bit of movement, but the harmony's not changing.
But there's a full moon rising. Let's go dancing in the light.
What is that? All right, so what this is here is all I did is say, okay, I watched his hands a little bit, and I saw that he went up. I'm assuming he's in standard tuning to 10th position here. So this is D, pattern 4. There's your major chord shape. Here's your little triad, and here's your triad here, right? So all I did is I know there's one note that changed, bump, bump. I thought it was 3rd to the 4th. That was wrong. Then I tried 5th to the 6th. That sounds right to me. So you got, and then it's this little ba-da-da-da, and there's a really floaty sound that happens. And so I hear this going up. So I just take a guess that he's implying D major 7 by playing this F sharp minor triad over the note D, and that's exactly what it is. So it's because remember, when you have a 7th chord, it's always 2 stacked triads. In minor, the 1 flat 3 5 is its own minor triad, but the flat 3 5 7 is a major triad. The opposite is true on a major 7th chord like this, where the 1, 3, 5 is a major triad, but then the 3, 5, 7 is a minor triad. So that's why F sharp minor over D yields the sound of D major 7. Here we go.
We know where the music's playing.
Man, I love Neil Young.
Let's go out and feel the night.
The broom makes it instead of the brushes on the snare.
Because I'm still in
There's your
love with
5.
you. I wanna see you dance again. Because
Stay on
I'm
it.
still in love with you. On this harvest moon.
Oh, then this pedal steel comes in. Perfect. Just right behind it. Just, I can't really do it, but, right? Just like this. Slide right in behind it. But the cool thing that happens in the harmony there is finally we get a 5 chord where we stay on the 5 chord. You get an A, A7, but it's got this suspension thing where it keeps the D in there, right? Makes it that real floaty sound. Why? Because what does suspension mean? Suspension means we're suspending the 3rd. You either do that by playing the 4th, which is 1 note above it, or the 2nd, which is 1 degree below it. So in this case, keeping that D on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string gives us that real floaty A, and then he resolves it by bringing it back down, playing that 3rd, playing that C sharp to really establish that leading tone that wants to go back to D, but then it still stays with A in the bass, so it's still that A thing, but then when it finally gets back to the D, it's such a homecoming, right? It's such a clearing of all the palette. It's just so simple and so tasteful, and that's one of the things I've always gotten from Neil Young's arrangements, is that everything serves the song in the most perfectly simple way. It's such a remarkable achievement for artists. I believe it. I used to have a quote on my Facebook page, but I believe Frédéric Chopin had a famous quote by basically saying, I'm paraphrasing, after one has played many and many and many, many notes, simplicity is the crowning achievement of art. Something like that. But you get my point, right? We start young, and we get hooked, and then we just go up the mountain. It gets crazier and crazier and crazier. Once we achieve some of that craziness, once we exhaust a lot of that thing that hooked us in the first place, that fire inside of us, then we start to realize the real beauty is in the nuance. The real beauty is in the simplicity. And as we age and we have families and do all these other things that we do, we realize that's true of all things. And since art is a reflection of life, it makes sense, right? What's Occam's razor? The simplest answer is usually the right one. This is a universal truth. And Neil Young has always been one of those artists that communicates those universal truths in a way everybody can understand. It's perfect in its delivery and simplicity. That's why so many people adore his music. The broom! See if I can drink this without spilling. Yeah, good enough.
When we were strangers, I watched you from afar.
So that definitely ends on the root. But there's 4. Maybe it just does that. And it just doubles it. Either way, E minor triad, use harmonics. Killer part.
And when we were
That's honky.
lovers,
Love the harmonies.
and the moon.
Have you also noticed that as each verse and chorus comes by, something new is introduced, right? This time we have the harmonies coming in. Like, I believe the second time we went through it, that's when that little part, for some reason, the simple thing is giving me issues. As soon as this video is over, I'm going to figure it out. This is how it goes some days. Some days even MJ throws bricks. True. But the point is that each time there's a new element introduced, right? The broom, then the harmonics, the harmonies, the drummer starts to pick up. You're getting more strumming. You're getting, the point is this really soft, gentle incline that we're on so far. We haven't had any peaks. We haven't had any valleys. It's just this. This is the Neil Young ride right now. Slow and steady, just picking it up each time we go through. That's the arrangement takeaway.
Is climbing high. I want to celebrate, see it shining in your eyes. Because I'm still in love with you. I wanna see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you. On this harvest moon.
See, listen to that. The pedal steel, if it was playing the whole time at that volume and that present in the soundscape, it wouldn't have the impact in this exact moment. And you want that sound on this harvest moon, right? You want that punctuation. And it's punctuated with this pedal steel.
With you. On this harvest moon.
Perfect in its simplicity. This is what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah. So much the bass player loves it. It's like Ralph Macchio playing guitar. Maybe it is.
I'm still in love with you. I wanna see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you. On this harvest moon.
It's perfect. Love it, Neil. Okay, who sent me this here? Bodie Hopkinson. Okay, Bodie, thank you so much again for being a subscriber at GuitarGate and suggesting this for YouTube. All right, the key takeaway is real simple. I mentioned it before. There's a reason some artists really connect with most people. That their music means something at scale. They communicate in a way that non-musicians, it doesn't matter who you are and what you do, that people feel. Not get off in their mind, or they feel, okay? And that's done in a variety of ways, but mostly by having a simple message delivered extremely well and clearly, using sounds and words that anybody can not just understand, but feel deep inside them. The sound of the harvest moon, right? The seasons changing is such an elemental thing, right? It's such a celebrated part of this cyclical nature that we're in this world, right? And each season has that. And just like Brody's comment, he says, this always makes me think of October. Like, that is a thing, okay? And he's got the words, he's got the story. I'm falling in love with you again, right? On this harvest moon. And you see the moon and the whole vibe of the soundscape. It's almost like a movie score in the sense that you could see it and you can visualize it. And it's done very, very simply. It's D, A, and G for the most part, but using the little suspensions, using that little bit of the major seventh in D to get that floatiness, and going back and forth between A7 sus and A7, just again, keeping that third fret second string on D to kind of keep that pull back to D. But then when you get up there, you hit that lick up top where D isn't even the note on top that your ear is hearing. You're back to that C sharp that you were toying with back and forth here, right? It's so simple, but it connects with people at scale. There's so much to learn from artists like Neil Young, and that is the key takeaway, right? Simplicity is the crowning achievement of art. You reach the most people, no matter what you do in life. Saying what you mean, meaning what you say, being straightforward, and just no crazy packaging, no long-winded nonsense that loses attention. You just put out pure, honest stuff that anyone can relate to. That's why I love Neil Young. All of his songs take me to that place. It's the atmosphere, it's the message, it's the delivery. Every single one of his songs, when it's over, it's like you were hanging out with a friend, then the friend's gone. And you could immediately just start it and listen it back up from the beginning again, and it's like you're hearing it for the first time. Tremendous artistic achievement. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all so much. Again, thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Please tell me what you think in the comments. Where should we go next? And if you'd like to pick what comes next on YouTube and get access to this page, that is a thank you that I give my students on GuitarGate.com. If you take my lessons, you take my courses, you support me as an educator, and allow me to run this amazing community for a living, I let you pick what comes next on YouTube. And we always find stuff that we otherwise wouldn't. And the goal, of course, is to keep us motivated, keep us inspired, and to keep that darn guitar in our hands. Have a great day. Cheers.